What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to just show you what my 4K Blu-rays are. I thought that would be fun. I've been doing a lot more movie and book content lately. That's totally what's been up my alley lately. So let's talk about my 4Ks because those are the really exciting ones. Of course, that's the fun one. It's got all the HDR and the great picture quality and Atmos tracks and everything. I don't have a tremendous collection like some folks get, like every single thing that comes out. Those people are more collectors. I'm more of like a curator, I guess you could say. I just get what I like. But there's a lot of stuff that I want to get that's coming out and stuff that has certainly already been out that I haven't gotten. But, as you remember, if you've watched some of my videos on this topic, I just really started getting into this last year or so. I've always been into movies. I've always had a DVD collection growing up, but the whole Blu-ray and 4K thing is somewhat newer to me. Not that the size of your collection matters. There's some sort of joke in there. I'll just go through these though and tell you about them. I've mentioned most of these before, but I thought it would be cool to do just all the 4Ks. So we have The Matrix on 4K. By the way, this is one of my biggest pet peeves is when they put this HDR thing on there. It's on here too. Sorry for the reflections, my apologies. By the way, I'm shooting this video in 4K. Hopefully it comes out. YouTube is completely just garbage in most respects. But I often shoot my videos in 4K and upload them and they come out in 1080p. I don't understand why, but that's annoying. I love the cover on this with the white rabbit. That's very cool. I hate when they have the HDR thing. It just kind of ruins the cover. Yeah, I know there's HDR. Ugh. And I feel like this is a newer... Is this somewhat newer? I feel like, okay, the older ones would, of course, have that on there because they really want you to... Look, it's got HDR for maybe folks that don't really know. I don't know. Yeah, this looked very good. I actually saw it for the first time. I've always seen bits and pieces, but I liked it. I didn't love it. I'm not really into action movies. I do like science fiction, but I felt this was more of an action film. So I didn't really love it, but I certainly enjoyed it, and it's definitely one I'll watch again. I can't say I disliked it at all. It looked phenomenal. It had great HDR. It was quite good looking. Next, we have the Stanley Kubrick collection. This comes with 3. And I always group my collections separately. Like, I don't say the Stanley Kubrick one is just one Blu-ray, because it's 3 films. So that's kind of how I do it. But when I put them on my shelf, I put them all in order, of course, of the collection. It's a weird thing, but it actually helps with organizational tactics. Sometimes when you get into those, how am I going to alphabetize my collection and stuff, people are like, wow, you're getting really into it. But it's a good way to be organized. So let's go through these. I haven't seen any of these actually yet. I've seen all of the films, of course. 2001: A Space Odyssey. That's one of the sharpest looking covers. I'm so sorry for the reflections. It's quite bright in here, but I don't know. That cover does something to me. I think it looks very cool. What about you folks? I heard this is one of the best looking 4K discs there are, so I'm very excited to watch that. And then The Shining, I heard this is also really good. I mean, I love The Shining. And Full Metal Jacket, another good one. I heard this one is probably the worst looking of the 3, but I've heard that they all look quite good. So that's that. Let me put it back in this slipcover. A nice matte slipcover, by the way. This is a really good quality slipcover. Some stuff that comes out these days is terrible, like Indiana Jones on 4K. That was atrocious. Wow. Speaking of another good slipcover, even better than that one, is The Karate Kid on 4K. I love The Karate Kid. I like 2, and 3's okay, but I like 2. But 1 is one of my favorite films. It's one of those movies I'll watch again and again and again. I don't know why. I just love it. It's just such a good movie. Look at the back, too. See that? This is cool, man. Like, this is the stuff I like to see. This makes it feel like you got a collector's piece in some way, and it's not. It's just the standard 4K trilogy release. And then, when they come out of here, even more slipcovers, right? Some people don't like slipcovers. I kind of do. I know it's like that Mitch Hedberg joke where he bitches about Pepperidge Farm bread because it's doubles packaged. It's one step between him and making toast. And that's how I think some people, and sometimes myself, feel about this. Like, this is just another step between me getting the Blu-ray out. But something about it I like. These all come with the regular Blu-ray and the 4K. And they're all nice picture discs. If that's what you want to call them. I'm going to call them picture discs, like old vinyls. Yeah, it's just Good. I only watched the first movie on 4K. It looked excellent. I don't have really any complaints. The HDR was not the best I've seen. That's, if I guess, the only complaint I could give, but it was quite a good experience. Next, we have Invasion of the Body Snatchers from Kino Lorber, another boutique house. And if we open this up, as most of Kino Lorber's releases are, standard stuff. This looked absolutely phenomenal. I just did a full review of this, actually. This looked phenomenal, and I had never seen the movie. I was blown away. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. It was absolutely phenomenal of a film. I'll watch this every year. And man, the HDR in this was incredible. You will go watch my review, but I talk in detail about this. But the colors were out of this world, man, and the lights and the picture quality. It was so good looking. Yeah, I wish Kino Lorber did a little more. That's my only complaint. Like, I'll get into that with another one I have. You open up and the menus are just it's just, they don't really, I don't want to say they put a lot of work in. I don't know. Kino Lorber, though, do they do, if you're a fan of this stuff, do they do their own transfers, or are they just a licensing house? I don't know. Next, we have Hook on 4K. Kind of crumpled, right? You see that? I'm not, like, super picky, right? I mean, I don't want my stuff to be banged up, but I'm not super picky. But this one came and had this kind of crumpled up, you can see in the light, the light's actually helping here. That's how it came. And I was like, man, I'm not going to return it. Whatever. I probably could have, but... Hey, look. It's Hook on digital. I don't think I claimed that. So if you want it, go for it. I'm not going to watch it on digital. First come, first serve. Yeah, this one I've reviewed as well. It's another absolutely stellar 4K. Really, truly. It's very much like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where it's not a very crystal clear picture. It looks very filmic. There's film grain. And both of those movies are kind of soft looking at times, but not soft in a way that's distracting or looks like they didn't do a good job. It just adds to the character. With Hook especially, adds to this dreamlike quality. But the HDR is amazing in that transfer. Next, I have one that just came out. And this is The Batman on 4K. This is the movie starring Robert Pattinson. And I don't actually know who directed this film. I'm actually not seeing it on here. Pardon me. Matt Reeves. Okay. I don't actually know Matt Reeves, really. I watched... I want to say, this is a long film. This is like 3 hours long. I like long movies personally, but I know some folks don't. I watched, I want to say, like an hour and 45 minutes of this, so or just a little over halfway. And I actually liked it. I can see some complaints, and I know that in the third act especially, it kind of starts to get boring. This movie was kind of hit or miss. Maybe, I think it was wildly successful, but I think from what I've seen from non-journalistic reviewers that it was either really fucking boring or it was really cool. And I'm in the camp where, from what I've seen, it was really cool. It was like a noir film. I mean, it was shot so stylistically with the darkness and the shadows, and just everything felt like noir to me, which I love. So I thought, this is something cool, man, because I know that superhero movies are all the rave now, and they have been, and they're always really long. But the fact that they let them do not like a standard, those superhero movies, man, some of them are fucking horrible, right? They're just products to me. They're not really films. A lot of them are. That's just my thoughts. So this is not like that, though. This is like they really let this director take a chance and go, you want to do this weird noir version of Batman? Okay, we're going to let you do it. So I don't know why that occurred. I mean, this is DC, right? Not Marvel. I'm pretty sure this is DC. I'm not into the superhero realm, but the fact that they let this guy do this kind of thing with this, I think is really cool. That's what I want to see. So far, I don't really have any complaints other than the music was a little lackluster. By the way, the main theme is like Darth Vader's Imperial March, basically. I wasn't super thrilled with the music in this, and as a matter of fact, if they went, I mean, I haven't seen the movie fully, so I don't want to, give a whole review, but if the director was like, dude, we're going full force with this noir style, and they did like Harmon muted trumpets, like a real old school jazzy score, maybe that wouldn't work for Batman, but it might. that was what I was missing from this. I'm like, I want that kind of music in here. Because the music or the movie was so clearly, stylistically geared towards a noir that it screamed for that kind of music. Maybe that doesn't work, but certain things were definitely taking me out, like pop music and stuff. That I don't like that. That's not appropriate for this kind of movie, in my opinion. But I haven't seen the rest. I started watching it on HBO Max, which, in my opinion, has some of the best bit rates of. Netflix is utterly atrocious. I don't watch stuff I really want to see on Netflix. I mean, I watch tons of stuff, but I don't watch big movies. YouTube is the worst. YouTube is atrocious. But HBO Max is okay, and it looked okay. But I've heard that this is better. You know what this is, man. I like the Blu-rays, so I'm looking forward to this. And I heard it has an amazing Atmos track, which I can't personally take advantage of at the moment, but in due time. Also, I'm going on a long time about this, and I haven't even finished watching it, but I just wanted to talk about this because I did pop it in just to give it a quick look. I just don't know when I'm going to watch it. It's a very dark film, extremely dark, so I feel like it would work best watching it in the dark. But it's also a 3-hour film, so I don't want to be up till 2 o'clock in the morning watching this. It's tricky. But, oh look, it's another digital thing. Well, hopefully you got that. You can have that. I don't do that, so I do it with a couple movies, but if you want it, it's not in here. This is I Love Lucy, but we have 3 discs. We have the 4K, which is a black disc. Then we have the regular Blu-ray, which is red, and then an entire special features disc. These are just Blu-rays, right? I like this. This is the shit I like to see. Look at, I mean, it's got the Riddler's, Zodiac Killer style stuff. And I like when they do, it's not just a blank disc. They put some color in there. They made them all different colors. I like that. And one other thing, I will say, I don't know about everybody's Blu-ray players, but I have a Panasonic player. I need to actually upgrade my player because it doesn't have Dolby Vision. And, HDR10 Plus looks quite good to my eyes. But I do have a LG CX, which is totally Dolby Vision capable. And when I do kick it in for games and stuff, it looks pretty good. But my Blu-ray player, when you pause the movie, it just straight up pauses the movie. There's a separate button you have to press if you want to see how much time is remaining. And this movie, you pause it, and it's coded into the file, to the movie. It shows you where you are in the film. And it's colorized and textured to the Batman style of the film. That's cool. That's reminds me of older Blu-rays when the menus were super stylized. So this is a release that they put a lot of work into and effort into, even though I can't comment yet on the actual viewing experience. But I like that. I like that older style that they used to do, where they really took a lot of time, and especially that this is a newer movie. I like that. Next, we have Back to the Future, the trilogy on 4K. I saw all 3 of these. This one actually comes in a kind of almost like a hardcover book, right? I'm not super big on this thing. I like when it clicks into place, but look at all this cool shit in here. This is kind of almost like a collector's one, kind of like Karate Kid, a little bit better, but they just go in here. It's fine, but I think that they did a lot of good work with this. Great things to say about this. I have no complaints. It had great HDR. It was crystal clear at times, especially for an older film. Man, it was great. I love those movies. Awesome. Next, we have Apollo 13, which there's a digital code in there, but I already did it. You got your just basic stuff here. This, I love this movie. It's not a perfect film, but it's one that I could just watch all the time. It's one of those movies, I think I mentioned it, that I could just put, if I'm in a hotel and I put this film is on the TV, I have to watch the whole thing. It's just one of those movies. I watched this on 4K before I got my new LG OLED TV, so it looked great on my older TV, but I had a real cheap 4K TV with some basic HDR. It still looked good, and actually the colors were different than I remember them in a good way. So there's definitely a different experience there. But I will need to watch this on my newer television, and I know that. Oh man, does this have an Atmos track? No, it doesn't. Oh, that's quite a bummer. DTS X and DTS HD. Okay, well, I'm sure the audio's fine. I have a sound bar with a subwoofer. I know it's not great, but it's what I got, and that I have. Man, it kicked when that shuttle took off. But if that had an Atmos track, man, probably blow your head off. My Fair Lady on 4K. I have not watched this one yet. I heard it's excellent, like one of the better ones, one of the near reference quality ones. I've looked at a couple scenes, you know, just to look at it. Again, that's a 3-hour film, so it's a long time. I love My Fair Lady though, but I haven't unfortunately gotten to watch that one yet. I just want to point that out though. Next is Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. I love this movie. I thought it was great. Not quite a Best Picture winner for me, but very good film. I love his work. And this was shot on digital at 6K, I believe. I might be wrong, but I believe. You know, this guy knows what's up. He's one of those directors that just knows what's up. He's not making products. He's not making popcorn shit. He's making good movies. The cinematography in this is unbelievable. Again, this is one that I don't believe I watched on my LGCX. So I'm going to have to watch this one again. But even on that older TV, which doesn't even compare to my newer television, it looked stunning. Shot digitally again, so that movie, the only negative I could say in terms of the visual stuff from what I've seen is I wish that they went back to film and then back to digital because it screamed for a little film grain. Next we have Planet Earth 2 and Blue Planet 2. A lot of people say that Planet Earth 2 is reference quality. There's that damn HDR thing again. One of the best. I will tell you, I like Planet Earth, and I have actually watched a little bit of Blue Planet. I was mistaken. I think I said I've never seen it. I have seen it a little bit. I actually really like this stuff, so I didn't just buy it because it's one of the best looking things. I used to watch Planet Earth all the time. I really enjoy it. I don't like when the animals kill each other, but I like when they show you really cool things. Almost stuff where you're like, how is this real? I watched a couple episodes of Planet Earth 2, and my fucking God, it looks unbelievable. People are not lying to you. There are scenes in this that, yeah, they're not. You're probably not going to find anything that looks this good. The HDR is the best that I've seen in certain scenes, and the clarity in certain things is freaky. I'm telling you, it's freaky. There's the episode I was watching called Cities where they talk about how like monkeys have taken over cities in India and stuff. And they show all these lights and stuff and it's just like, what the fuck? It's crazy. And they show the monkeys and you can see like every hair and pore on their skin. It's crazy. Blue Planet 2, it's probably going to look good too with all that underwater stuff. If you want one that looks really good, this one looks insane. I don't know if I actually have anything that looks quite this good. And we're talking about visual fidelity in HDR, not always the filmic look that you get from 4K. Like Invasion of the Body Snatchers is certainly not as clear as this. It's a whole different bag. But that, because of the 4K capabilities, that movie just looks almost like the way you're supposed to see it. Almost like we've been watching it wrong all these years. This is just straight up visual fidelity and colors and everything is amazing. Do have a couple qualms with this, really one qualm. And by the way, does this have Dolby Vision? Or excuse me, does this have... I don't even know. My apologies. This is actually I'm going on a tangent. This is a Canadian video release, not an American one. I think they're the same region though, but there's the Canadian rating on the back rather than the MPAA rating. But 4K players are region free. Don't worry about it. You can get a 4K from wherever you want in the world. It's going to play on your player. Not Blu-rays, but 4Ks. So if there's a movie you really want to see that came out only in the UK or something, buy it. It'll play on your player. No problems. Yeah. So my only qualm is that certain scenes are certainly shot at 1080p. And I don't know why that is, if it's an issue with how close they could get to the subject or what. But there are scenes that are certainly shot at 1080p. They're not a lot. But when they pop out, like there's the Cities episode, there's a whole sequence with pigeons in New York City. And a lot of the scenes were definitely in 1080p. And it just takes you out of it. It doesn't look bad, but because the other stuff looks so freakishly good, really takes you out of it. I got to wrap this up because we're going on a long time, but I'm having a lot of fun talking about this, as you can tell. I'm so into this stuff now. It's just bringing me a lot of happiness, It's making me feel some sort of purpose. Not that I don't have a purpose in life, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just when you rediscover a hobby, it's a great thing. We actually have Saw, unrated. A very cool slipcover with some writing on there. You can probably see it. Very cool. This also has a Dolby Atmos track, which I can't take advantage of. I heard it's really good. I've heard people say like you can hear water and pipes above your head and stuff, so that's cool. This is a low budget movie. It's my favorite of the Saw films. I actually very much like this movie. I'm not a big fan of the other ones, but this is a great movie. Extraordinarily grainy, I will say, if you're not someone that's into grain. Very grainy. And also, it's got that blue-green color palette, but I thought it looked great. I have no complaints. Next, we have Shaun of the Dead. I bought this over a year ago, I feel. Maybe a year. I haven't even watched it yet. I love this movie. I've seen it on DVD. I've never seen it on Blu-ray. It's a great movie. It's funny as hell. Next, we have Silence of the Lambs on 4K, of course. Kino Lorber. And as always, you just get these basic-ass Blu-rays. And same deal, the menus and stuff are just Kino Lorber branded, just basic menus. I wish that they put a little more effort into making stuff look cool. They don't really. That's my complaint with that company, but they put out cool stuff. That looked amazing. No complaints. It looked absolutely amazing. It's one of my favorite movies. Next, we have Spaceballs on 4K. I haven't seen this because it's shrink-wrapped, but that's that. And the last one is Waterworld. I just picked this up kind of recently. Not really recently anymore, but I think I've mentioned this in my pickup videos. I haven't watched it on 4K yet. I like this movie. I know it's cheesy, man, but I just like it. And I heard it's pretty good. Now, my only issue with this is that there's that Ulysses cut, the 3-hour version, which I know is not like a miracle cut. It doesn't save the film from its issues, but I just like that kind of stuff. I like the longer cuts. I've seen both cuts before, but I heard the Ulysses cut is only in 1080p. Now, here's a weird thing about this. The Ulysses cut is on the 4K disc. So there is... I might be wrong about this, because I don't actually think I popped in the Blu-ray. I just popped in the 4K to check it out real quick. And please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't want to give anyone false information. But I have read from a couple people that that Ulysses cut is only on the 4K disc. But it's in 1080p. So that's weird. So if you don't have a 4K player, you can't watch that cut, even though it's in 1080p. It's a strange thing. Maybe it's a space constraint of the disc. I don't know. That's everything. I hope you enjoyed this. You got any movies you picked up lately? Let me know. You seen any movies? You like any of these movies? Let me know, man. All right, peace out.